Okay, I've got my other side of my lining secured here. Now we need to do what is below the end of the zipper real quick. And it's just like doing the other one for like the main fabric. But at this point, we don't have to get our stitching even or, overlapping at that base area up here. We can actually kind of come down and give it a little bit of play room from the bottom of that to where then we come back to close the seam. It's okay, you want that to actually have a little bit of wiggle room because of the wear. When they're wearing it, as they move around, we don't have any pull in that area at the base of the zipper from the outside. And then I would go and press that part of the piece open. Now, to deal with our top edge, now I've already done one so you can see what we are trying to do here. But let me show you how this works. Now, if I were to be putting a waistband across this, then I actually don't need to do any of this next step. My waistband would, sew across and then fold over and finish up all edges or raw edges here of these seam allowances inside the waistband area. But this is for like the top edge of a dress or a skirt that does not have a waistband. All right, so I am going to actually fold this back this way. All right. We're going to roll the main fabric over. Sorry, trying to do this. There we go. And what I need to capture here is I want to have my invisible zipper, make sure it's not rolling out flat. It's still rolled to the inside, but that is where my main fabric's going to roll around the outside of it, and then see how my lining, oops, no you can't see, I wasn't in the camera, is staggered in. The lining is not at that folded edge, it is inwards. So we're going to do that, get going here. And again, at this point, I usually would have the front already attached to the back, and I was doing this with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So let's say this is a neck edge. If I've got my shoulder seams and all of that done, I would start here and go all the way around the garment to the finishing side instead of these just front and back pieces. Or same thing on a skirt. I would already then have my skirt attached, and knowing then that I've got it lined up like with any darts or side seams, pleats, anything like that. But for our sample, we will end here at our raw edges. And before I go clipping any corners to eliminate any bulk, if that is an issue, I do a quick just check testing here. This is called keying the ends. You do it on collars and different things to make sure that they even up. And you're wanting that to even up. And I actually have this one's a little bit higher. So I'm going to flip this one back over and actually bring my seam stitching line in just a little bit. Okay, so it's already secured, that's fine. But before you trim anything away, what if I actually needed to let that out? I wouldn't want it cut out. So just shifting that in, and then again I can blend it back into any of that stitching. We'll clean up our threads in a minute, but let's flip it back out, check it to the, oops, to the other side, because we want an even piece up here at the top. There we go. And actually, because of the fact this has to roll up and over, I kind of lost that extra distance I needed from the stop to that edge for putting in a hook and eye. So I may have to think of something that'll kind of bridge the gap over that. But knowing that now, I know that in the future I will want to shift that down maybe even greater distance from my top edge if I'm going to be doing this type of finish, because the top part of that zipper tape rolls over. But that is how you can have a nice finished look at the back of, let's say, your dress or at the top of a skirt, but it staggers in your lining from the folded edge of your zippers. Has a nice clean finish. That's what you see in the stores, and the pattern envelopes, the instructions in those, they never tell you how that you get that. But now you know.